Hello and welcome to another CSD Fantasy YouTube video. Today I will be talking about the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to discuss their market share and their potential scoring for the next year. This is the first time with the new graphics and I'm really excited. Let's dig in. The opportunity pool derives from the Titans' place with Mariota as their quarterback and the opposing team's tendencies over the last 2 years. This will be divided up between all the players and they will get their individual share. Looking at the target share, you can always move around different players if you disagree with me where I've put some of them. For instance, I have Corey Davis as wide receiver number 1, but you might not have him. You might have him as number 2 and will only get 14% of the targets. The same goes with share of carries. You might have Henry as the number 1 running back in Tennessee. I have him as number 2. The 62 and 23 will differ. Marcus Mariota had some injury issues last year, but remember that all protections are for 16 games and full health. I think he has a chance to be a really good fantasy quarterback next year. Not an elite one, but around top 10. I, for instance, have Winston higher than Mariota, even though I think he will score around 274 points in total. I was very high on DeMarco Murray last year, and I had him in multiple leagues. I'm not as high on him this year, but still think he's of course the number 1 back in Tennessee. The numbers suggest that he will see a fair amount of targets and break the 30 reception mark. I think he will lose roughly 40 carries compared to last year, where he had an incredible amount of carries, almost Cowboys amount of carries. So even if you lose some, seeing 258 is really good. Looking at the numbers, I still think he's a top back if he can stay healthy and stay the main guy for the Titans. I think he can almost score 200 fantasy points next year. One of the absolute best running back 2s out there is Derrick Henry. He won't see as many targets as Murray, but he has an incredible catch rate in all the areas that Mariota likes to throw the running backs to. So he catches almost all of the anticipated targets he gets. I think he also loses a few carries compared to last year, but that is mostly due to the team throwing more. And I think even as an RB2, he has top 40 potential. Skipping the wide receiver 1 and looking at Rishard Matthews instead. I never project rookies due to the lack of NFL production, so Corey Davis will have to be skipped. I'll leave that to people with more knowledge in that area. With the Titans' numbers for second wide receivers, Rishard will only see 14% of the targets next year. That is a considerable drop off from last year. I was pretty high on both Sharp and Matthews last year. We all know how Sharp went, but Matthews was pretty good, finishing top 11. But seeing as I believe he'll lose over 20 targets, I will be careful at drafting him. I don't think he can produce at a top 12 wide receiver level in 2017. Some notable things about Rishard Matthews is that this is of course a wide receiver 2. He was their number 1 guy last year, so that's something to keep in mind. And if he's the number 1 guy, he can still have top 20 potential, but a lot depends on Corey Davis. A guy I have a lot of questions about is Delanie Walker, and I'm kind of curious what Walker we're going to see next year. He still has some really good games, but age 32 scares me. Not everyone can be Tom Brady or Jason Witten. And seeing as they have a younger guy behind him that they spent a pretty high draft pick on, I'm not super hype about Walker in 2017. Still 121 carries as their number one guy with 75 receptions. He has top 10 potential all day long. But that is... we have to assume that he's the number one guy in that case. Otherwise, we just don't know. Notable is, of course, 32 years old, and the team drafted Jonnu Smith in the 3rd round. For the rookies, I'll just project a target share and potential targets they can see if they shoulder the roles that I've given them. As I said before, you can take the numbers and move the players around to your liking. If you would like a spreadsheet to easily do this, send me a tweet to the account posted down below with the hashtag CSD score projection, and I'll provide you a spreadsheet that you can move the players around. You can put Corey Davis as wide receiver number 3 if that is something you would like to do, and the formulas will give you his new score projection. To summarize, let's look how the players would have finished last year with their 2017 projection. As I said, I think Mariota can be a really good fantasy quarterback, but not an elite one. Murray is still a number 1 running back, especially in deeper leagues. Henry has a lot of potential, and I will draft him with 100 fantasy points in mind, but a potential injury to Murray and he can take over and be a beast. I'm staying away from Matthews until I hear Treadwell-like stories about Corey Davis. And I might still pick up Delanie Walker, but it all depends on his ADP. I hope y'all remember the tight ends when fantasy draft season comes along. I know I will. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you like the new graphics. If you liked the video, press that like button and subscribe for more content. You can always head over to csdfantasy.com for more charts and numbers. And as always, the spreadsheets are dark and full of terror.